What's up, everybody? Ty Bartell in with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we travel down to Richmond, Ohio with the Edison Wildcats program. Girls basketball skipper Mark Smyth joining me today. Coach, how we doing today?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. I guess where I always like to start, we're in practice season right now. You're seeing what you got from what you don't. How are practices looking right now for the Wildcats?
I'm really happy. I'm really happy with our kids. We have a great group of kids, very intelligent. I think at this point last year, I had like 10 of my 15 kids had a 4.0, and we're right about in the same area right now. We have great kids. They're trying hard. I'm really excited with what we have.
Before we talk about this season, I want to talk about last season too. Another 10-win season for Edison. That's now 3 in a row for the Wildcats program. And if I remember correctly, you guys had some seniors, but you had a lot of young girls too on this team. I got to feel like having 10 wins with a lot of young talent on this team, carrying it into next season, this season now, has to be an exciting time for you and the rest of the coaching staff.
Yeah, we lost two great seniors last year. Pam Johnson. Pam was our starting point guard. She averaged about 15, 16 points a game for us last year. She's a big loss, but we really enjoyed having Pam. But we got some kids that hopefully step up in that role. Our other senior missed the entire season. Her name was Jaden Nicholson. Jaden was a real leader in our organization, and she was a great kid to be here and show the example of what we want a lady Wildcat to be. But hopefully we have some people to step in that role as well. A lot of young kids. Last year we started a senior, 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, I believe it was. I take that back. 2 freshmen, a sophomore, and 2 juniors at different times. But yeah, we got a good group of young kids that are working hard.
What are the ones that are standing out that you think are going to make an impact on this team early on? Obviously, the roster's not finalized or anything yet, but who are some big names for this team this year?
We got three seniors this year. Presley Meadows. Presley will be a 3-year starter for us. Emma LaPred. Emma's been here. This is my 4th year as head coach. She's been with me all 4 years. And Becca Evans. Becca was our starting center last year. This will be her 2nd year playing high school basketball. She'll start for us again. We have 1 junior, Kylie Stahl. Kylie will be going into her 2nd year as a starter. Then we have a nice, strong group of sophomores. Sophia Henderson started for us last year as our 2 guard, and a couple freshmen that could step up and be starters for us. Abby Boca is looking like she's probably going to start for us this year as well as a freshman.
Obviously, no 2 years are the same going into a preseason and just trying to figure out what the lay of the land is going to look like ahead of you, too. And losing a starting point guard, too, is obviously one thing that you don't always have to deal with every year. What's it like for you from a coaching perspective, trying to find a new person to kind of run the ship on the floor, so to say?
It's interesting. I'm really excited with what we have. There's really 2 kids that are competing for that job. Sophia is a sophomore. Sophia is going to start in summary guard somewhere. I don't really know where yet. She'll either be our 2 guard or our point guard. But I looked for her to step into that role. But we have a freshman that's really having a great preseason here. Had a really good summer. Abby Boca. She's probably going to start in one role or another as well. One of them will probably be the shooting guard. The other one will probably be the point guard. Excuse me. But you're going from a girl that had a lot of experience as a starter, being our starting point guard last year, to going to 2 girls that are pretty young and inexperienced. But we're really excited with the ability that they have.
It's a good problem to have. It might not even be a problem at all if you have 2 guards on the floor that can both kind of run the floor for you.
Right.
So you look at this team and you look at the schedule ahead of you guys right now. Obviously, you always have a very tough conference slate, but you also have that opportunity to get some good non-conference games in there. How do you feel about this year's schedule and what you have ahead of you?
I like our schedule. We play some pretty good teams. We open up on the 22nd against Buckeye Local. Buckeye's got a couple really good players that are seniors this year that I've had the privilege to coach against the last few years. I've watched them kind of grow up and become the players that they are now. We're really excited to start off the season with them, see what we got. I think they'll be one of the better teams on our schedule, so we're excited to get started with them.
Obviously, at one point you guys would like to do is have better success in the conference. It's a tough conference to win in, no doubt, too. What do you guys feel like you need to do or see check marks in, improvements in from the girls returning from last year to this year for you guys to get on the winning side of those conference games, more of those conference games?
Now, nice for us this year, we have officially left the Buckeye 8 conference now. So we did have some flexibility with our scheduling this year, but the teams, we play pretty much the same schedule as we have in the past. Um, we have to play better.
Yeah.
That's all. We got to play better. The nice thing is, like I said, I've had these girls. This is my fourth year. Press has been with me for 4 years. Emma has been with me for 4 years. These girls know my system. They know what I want done. And these even these younger girls that are freshmen and sophomores, they played it for me now since they were in sixth grade. You know what I mean? It's been they've grown up in what I wanted to do.
Yeah, is that a different feeling for you now that you officially can say you have classes that have moved entirely underneath your coaching tutelage?
It's been fun. Like right now we have 4 youth teams playing down in the Tri-State Youth Basketball League down in
Wow.
Highlands. I have a third grade team down there, a fourth grade team down there, fifth grade, sixth grade. My seventh and eighth graders all played in our youth basketball organization. Yeah, it's really fun to see all these kids grow and kind of run the same system that I want to run at the high school level from all the way to the bottom. So that's been really fun for me.
So many coaches will tell me too that if you want to build a program, not just a one and done team, a program though, it starts with those youth levels. I'm sure you'd agree on that as well.
Absolutely. We have, I'm really excited. We have fantastic youth coaches that have a plethora of knowledge and experience, moving all the way from my third graders all the way up through my assistant coaches at the high school level. I really like the way that our program's headed with that.
What would your secret be for these other youth programs trying to just gauge interest? Because I mean, it's different where you are, obviously, too. But basketball, I feel like took a hit a few years ago with that whole COVID season as far as interest was for the younger kids. What's kind of the secret to keep that interest and get interest from these kids?
It absolutely did. And getting youth numbers up has been difficult. I'm extremely lucky that our boys coach here is a real go getter, and he has worked hand in hand with me with trying to build our youth program from the bottom, and we've been going to the grade schools and recruiting the kids, and it's been really nice to be able to share that with our boys program. So that's been great. Getting good people involved, getting good families involved. And my dad told me a long time ago, my dad was a girls basketball coach here for 25 years, but he said it about T-ball. You draft the parents, you don't draft the kids. If you get good families, the good kids follow afterwards.
No doubt, coach. No doubt. And one thing I'm sure you also know too, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And I always like to give the opportunity for you to shout out your assistants, the rest of your staff too, that make up this Edison Wildcats girls basketball team.
Yeah, my assistants at the high school level are Lindsay Morrison and Anthony Piro. My middle school coaches, Dave Long, Ann Alt, and Gina Fogel. And my youth coaches, Tiff and Nate Moses are my fourth grade coaches. I have Dave Long and Jimmy Mills, my third grade coaches. Again, Nate Moses and Missy Evans as my fifth grade coaches, and Nadine McCoy and Dave Long as my sixth grade coaches. And we wouldn't be where we're at right now building a program without those people. So I really appreciate them, and really lucky. Also, my dad is a huge part of our program still. My dad's been battling cancer for the last 2 years, and he's on and off with coming to practice, but he just finished his last thing of IV radiation. So we're really excited for him to get some juice back to him and get back to practice. And my dad will be back hopefully here in the next couple of weeks to our high school practices, which we're very excited about.
That's awesome, man. I mean, obviously cherish those moments too. I understand where you're coming from. Lost my dad to cancer this past summer too. So it's rough as well, but I'm so glad that he's able to still be there, have a hand in a program that he's already established himself in a foundation in as well.
Absolutely.
You talk about that Edison brand of basketball though, and I'm interested to see, are you guys gonna have that kind of same brand as last year? You changing things up because you have a lot of young girls that have now a year of experience under their belt.
We slowed down the ball a little bit last year in comparison to what we did in my first 2 years. We were very much run and gun my first 2 years, full court pressure in your face. Last year we slowed it down some and pulled it out, and really relied on Pam to score a lot of our offense, but ran a lot of things through her. And this year we'll go back to what we did my first 2 years and run and gun and play fast. I think we have a plethora of kids that can put the ball in the hole and get after it on defense. So we'll go back to that role.
It's always an exciting time when you can kind of change things up and teams aren't ready for what you have in store for them too, and when you can see girls fill in those roles too and take on new challenges as well. Coach, one thing I know for sure, the reason we all come back each and every season, whether we're on the sidelines, on the floor, in the press box, is because we love the sport. There's a love for the game, and that's where it all started. It's a running theme this year. It's the question I'm asking all coaches. Where did the love for the sport of basketball start? Do you have a pinpoint moment or a time period?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, you heard my stuff about my dad. My dad was the girls' basketball coach here for 25 years. He's like a legend in our school district. And I used to come to practices with him whenever I was a little kid. As I got older, he became our athletic director. And we lived at Edison. I mean, we were here 24/7. And either going and watching games with him or watching the Celtics at home and Duke and all that, it made me really love basketball. It was a lot of it was just spending time with my dad, and I got the privilege to coach with him my first few years here. And like I said, he dealt with his battle. He actually got my first win. My wife had COVID my first year as a head coach. He ended up beating Toronto. My dad was the coach of the game. I was at home watching on TV, but he got my first win for me. But it all comes down to him. And
That's awesome. That is awesome too. And that's something of course you could always hold close to your vest too. And that's a great story too to tell as the years go on, no doubt. Coach, we're always rooting for you here on the network. I'm excited to see what Edison girls basketball has in store this season and for you guys to get back to that Wildcat brand of basketball we're used to. I'm excited to see these young girls take that next step in their development. We're all rooting for you here back on the network, as this has been a first edition of Coach's Corner this year with the Edison Wildcats girls basketball skipper, Mark Smyth.